G'day, guys. Welcome back to the Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate. And today we are doing the mailbag. I put the call out a few days ago and you guys responded. We had quite a lot of questions, so we couldn't fit this into the podcast. You guys just saw the podcasting that's getting aired before the mailbag. So if you like, our content, please check out the podcast. It's featured around the 3 QB race, and if that's even possible. However, this is your show today, and I've got my mate Owen here. Owen, what's happening, mate?
Yeah, looking forward to seeing what the syndicate subscribers want to find out, what their questions are.
Yeah, well, I wrote them down a few days ago. I put them in order, but now I've actually forgotten every question, so it's going to surprise me too. So we have, I think we have seven questions, I think, in the mailbag, which is quite good. So let's get right into it, right? Our first question is from Sylvia Gamboa. Hello, my question is, in your opinion, what changes does Tomlin need to do to ensure better results this season? Greetings from Juarez, Mexico, and congratulations, you guys are doing a great job. Thank you, Sylvia. We appreciate the thoughts there, but that's a big question. What changes, Owen, does Tomlin need to do to ensure better results this season? That's a big question.
We could make a whole podcast about, but two fundamentals for me that I'd want to see. Number one is getting the offense to be able to move the ball more effectively and chew up more clock, because where we suffered last season was the fact the defense was getting gassed, as the games went on, because the offense was going three and out a lot. So that'd be the first thing I'd want to see. And the second thing I think that Tomlin needs to ensure gets fixed is the run defense, because that's what hurt us as well on the defensive side. What do you think, Mark?
It's a very hard question to answer when you really think about it, because changes, well, sometimes if we are, last year we were 9-8, right? Say, for instance, you were to change a few things, whatever they may be, they can also be a positive or they can be a negative. So if you were to, say, for instance, limit Najee's carries, and that's a change where you make him 75% or 70%, which a lot of Steelers fans I know want to happen, have a designated, running back number 2 and help out the offense. That can either go two ways. It can be very positive and it can work out for the team, or it could go negatively and the second guy may not be up to scratch. So changing, how much do you want to change for the whole team? Now, I do know there's a lot of Tomlin haters out there, as they exist now, and that's been the narrative for 5 years. We get that the 5% of you represent 95%. I'm done with you. However, at the same time, I would like to see, Tomlin. It is really hard. Like, I'll be honest, it is hard to say. Well, what change do you need to implement? Because he is having a winning season, and we just haven't got it done in the past. But the change. There's already been changes that have actually already happened. When you think about it, Big Ben's retired. We brought in Trubisky. They've gone out, and I know what's to do with the Kevin Colbert's draft, but you've gone out and got a rookie quarterback. The defensive line, DeMarvin Leal, those guys, and now to it. It's maybe schematically, like you said, for the defensive, like that's probably one of the best ones to stop the run. We let in way too many yards running the football. But signing Minkah Fitzpatrick at the back. Overall, I kind of trust Tomlin what is happening with the organization. So, and if you do change some things, it could lead to a negative result, even worse than what we have now, right? That's hard one. It's a very she put us on the spot.
Good question.
But yeah, thank you. It's a crazy question. Thank you, Sylvia, for that question. Let's move into the next one. So we have G3 says, Steelers made a lot of moves this offseason. That said, which position do you feel like still needs to be addressed? D-line, O-line, backup, halfback, corner. Another hard question. How would you address these issues?
I have two major concerns with that at the moment. Number one, offensive tackle depth. I think the guard situation is fine. I think the center situation is fine, but I do have slight concerns over the tackle depth. You've got Chooks and Dan Moore as your starting tackles. Dan Moore's his sophomore season. Chooks is solid, nothing else. And then behind them, what have you got? And that is where I think there is a little bit of a concern. How would I address that? I'd go out and I'd trade. I would go into free agency and I'd get Eric Fisher from who used to play for the Colts. That's who I would do there. D line, I'd want to see a bit more veteran experience. I like Chris Wormley, but I don't think the guy's good enough on run defense. Yes, it will help having Tyson back, but D-line is a concern. How would I address that? I'd go out and make a trade for someone like Deron Payne from the Commanders, who's in the last year of his rookie deal, who is a beast, and I think he would really add to the Steelers team. That's what I would do anyway. So, Mark, what do you think? Where's the weakness? What would you do?
Well, this is another very hard question. It's also, do you go out there and sign the big free agent guys like a cornerback, or do you bring in a well-established, halfback, like G3 is saying? So you bring in, and to the similar point with Sylvia and the Tomlin discussion is, I do think you need a running back too, like we had with I can't remember his first name, Williams. What was his first name?
Another one you mean.
I've drawn a blank. the dude with the dreads. You look that up. Like, I can't remember his first name. It's Buddy. It's done me in. However, yeah, look, when you find that name, his name, I think halfback position. I think if we get a solid second running back, I think would help this offense and help the identity offense. However, I think you're right. Bringing a guy like Fisher too for the offensive line would be fantastic. But I just like what the Steelers are doing in the offseason. Mm-hmm. Overall, I just like they brought in Mason Cole, who looks like he's going to be starter. You get James Daniels, and I think if you were to bring in another guy, another piece of the puzzle, man, it's like we're hitting baseballs out of the park.
D'Angelo Williams.
D'Angelo, yeah, that's right. Well, if you have a guy like that, I couldn't think of his name. D'Angelo Williams was a solid running back for the Steelers, and he was pretty much a number 2. So you brought in a guy like that, I think would help the team. But the question, I guess, does state, which needs to be addressed: D-line, O-line, backup, corner. I guess they're all pretty weak. They're weak to a certain degree, but they're not as weak as we think when you think about it.
I'm not, to be honest with you, I'm not as concerned about corner as a lot of people are. I think Akella Witherspoon, Cam Sutton, and Levi Wallace will do a good job this year. I think Levi Wallace is
agree with you.
Effective.
I agree with you. I would maybe only say like the O-line could be improved. Of course, the O-line can always be improved, and maybe possibly the D-line. But when you think about it, you've got Wormley there and DeMarvin Leal and Loudermilk and Montravius Adams. They're not bloody pushovers. So we're at a point where I think we bring someone in. It's only going to be an addition. Let's move to question number 3. We have James Shackleton. Do you think the Steelers need to sign a defensive lineman due to the losses? Similar question to the loss of Stephon Tuitt. What do you think?
The only concern, like I said, is we have depth. We do have depth: Leal, Loudermilk, Wormley, Adams, Davis, so on and so forth. But is it quality depth? Real high-level quality depth? And that's the only slight concern for me. Do I think we need to sign someone? Only if it's on the right terms for the Steelers.
Yeah, so it's not a big need, is it? It doesn't feel like a need, right?
If for example the Commanders came to us and said, right, give us a 3rd round pick and a player for Deron Payne, I'd say I'll take that. I think that all day long. If they said, oh well, no, we want a 2nd or a 1st, then I'd say no chance, not hoping in how we're getting that. But it has to be on the right terms if we're going to sign someone. And the defensive line free agents are not that impressive that are left. Not now. Akeem Hicks has gone to the Bucs. Dama Kong Su's too old. He's 35 years old.
I don't want him anyway. No, Sue. Sue's a grub. He's
got attitude issues around him as well. I just don't think he'd fit in with the Steelers, to be honest with you.
No, he's all for himself. He's a grub. I don't think the overall need to sign anyone. I think I'm kind of like, it's not a big need for me. So to answer that question shortly, we can't answer the 4 really. I think we have is a question 5 here. State of the Steelers, who we've been talking to on the side. He's got his own YouTube channel. We might be able to get him on the podcast in the future. He said, "What's up, guys? Which hurts? This is it. Yes. Which loss hurts more, Joe Hayden or Juju?" I've got my answer straight up.
Go on, you go first. You go first then.
None. I'm okay. The Steelers are fine. We move on. I don't watch the play. I watch the team.
No, I don't think either does. I think If it had been Joe Hayden 3-4 years ago, then yeah, it would have been a big loss. But Joe Hayden didn't have the most effective of seasons last season, and he was injured a lot. Juju Smith-Schuster missed most of last season injured. And like it's been said, he hasn't really had a really successful season since Antonio Brown left. So no, I wouldn't say either of them hurt us particularly, not given what we've done.
Yeah, I'm okay. Joe Hayden, I think maybe if I said number, I would probably say Joe Hayden just because I like him more as a Steeler. But other than that, I don't. I think we've filled the void enough with the receiver and cornerback. We have our next question. I think this is this one. Yes. So Gene Smith says, I would ask between a running back and a corner, depending what comes up. So I think he's saying here, what free agent would you rather, running back or a corner?
Running back. It's got to be.
I'm the same. And it's so funny too, because all these questions are very similar to each other, right?
Yeah.
We've just been talking about the running back position or the cornerback and Joe Hayden leaving or receiver. But I would agree with you there. I think running back, if they were to sign a number 2 guy to take over Snell's place, I think that's great. Next question we have here is from Jake Crosby. How much? This is a you question, Owen. I think you did your own stuff on your channel. How much cap space do the Pittsburgh Steelers have left?
So last projection that I read, it was 23.1 million, but that's due to the fact that the way Khan restructured Minka's deal, it made more cap space because, as we know, Omar Khan has a calculator for a brain. He is just a genius. But they're saying that Kenny Pickett's cap hit will be about 1.99 million, which I think takes it down to about 21 million in cap space once Kenny Pickett does finally sign his rookie deal.
Yeah. I don't know anything about cap space. I just want to watch him win and beat the Bungles week 1, but okay. Here's our last question. So Kevin Herzog says, how did you guys become Steelers fans? And we've said it a few times, but it's always fun to bring it back up. Owen, how did you become a Steelers fan?
I've got to say, I love that. That guy's got such a cool last name. Herzog. Wow, that's a cool last name, man. Go for that as a last name. 88. So 88. Started watching the NFL. Got into the NFL. Decided to pick a team. Did some because I'm like I said before, because I'm a bit of a history nerd. Went on to do a bit of research into history. Loved the history of the Steelers. Loved the stories about Lambert, about Webster, about Ham, about Swan, Stallworth, Bradshaw, Knoll. Knoll was still there. Love the black and gold. That's why I chose the Steelers. Mark?
Yeah, mine's very similar. I've told my story a few times, and I guess you guys have been watching me since day one on whatever podcast I'm on. But basically, it was because of the colors alone. Black and gold was just some cool colors, man. They're not my favorite colors. Like I could have chosen, like I love blue, so I could have chosen Carolina Panthers or Detroit Lions for blue. But something stood out being the black and gold, or as it's represented, or black and yellow. But it is black and gold. We know that. Something just stood out, and I was like, yeah, this is a really cool, like, looking team. I love the NFL growing up when I was playing Madden with my brothers, and the movies like Remember the Titans, all those kind of things were around. And the movies are fantastic, like The Waterboy, The Replacements. All those movies are so much fun to watch. And that's pretty much what sparked my interest around the 2000s, 2001, 2002. I started watching football in 2003. I think when I also had Madden, and then I think Tommy Maddox was one of my first quarterbacks watching, but I had no idea how the game worked. I couldn't tell you. I didn't know what a first down was or anything, right? I just watched them play football, hit each other, and that was fun. And then I started to really get into it around 2007 or 8 when they went to the Super Bowl for the second time in 43. So, or second time in that decade or whatever, right? 43. They won that, and Troy was there, and Debo Harrison. And that's when it all really started. And now, I guess it's turned out for the greater for us, because it's gotten me pretty much everywhere. Like the Steelers that I've been, traveling the world, wearing my gear. It's got me into conversations. I've met people. I've got this podcast with yourself now, in the Syndicate, the YouTube channel. We've got our own individual channel, Steel Nation Australia and Pittsburgh Owen. So yeah, I think it's working out pretty well for us for being a fan. Like overall, like I love doing the YouTube stuff, but I still want to watch them. Like I want to see them win, Like that's just. I went to a game, Steelers versus Ravens, and I was still pretty pissed off that they were losing at one point with 2 minutes to go, down by I think 4 points or whatever it was, right? 24-20, I think it was. They came back to win 27-24, something similar to that nature, right? And I was annoyed that we're down, but I was annoyed and angry that we're losing. However, I was still in Heinz Field going, I'm in Heinz Field, but I was still pissed off we were losing. So at the end of the day, like myself and Owen do the content, we love it. We love talking Steelers, but you gotta like we just want to watch the game, right? We want to see them win. We just want to sit there and watch our team smash someone in the mouth and go and get the 1-0 and go on to win. Like I just want to get that feeling of like we won a Super Bowl, and whatever anyone says the next year, like whatever. Whatever, we won last year. Colin Cowherd can't say anything then, can he?
No, can't stand Colin Cowherd. Colin Cowpat.
The
guy is clueless. He's basically is just walking clickbait. That's all he is. He's walking clickbait.
100%. But yeah, say for instance the Steelers go out there and win 2022, then 2023 we're set because there's no more fire Tomlin. There's no more of this, no more of that. It's like, okay, well, we won one last year. What else you got? I would love that. But the reason we are fans is because basically for most of it, for us, is they're black and gold. And then the more you learn about the team, the more you invest your time and energy. And like you guys are watching the podcast, the mailbag segment, at some point you're just like, let's go and watch them win. Hey?
Yeah.
Hey, that's what we want. Any final thoughts for this mailbag segment in this video?
No, just thank you to everyone who sent in questions. Really nice to hear from the Syndicate subscribers and hear their questions, and just keep those questions coming in. It's fantastic. Thank you very much.
Yeah, 100%. So we will try and do this next week as well, the mailbag segment. And we have the podcast that aired earlier today. So check out the podcast, and thank you for listening to the mailbag segment as well. And thanks, guys, for checking out the Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate. I'm your host with my co-host, Owen. And throughout the week, we'll be talking about Steelers heading into training camp. Are you keen for training camp?
Oh, can't wait.
Training camp's going to be fun, right? It's like
back at the Latrobe.
We can see real football.
You know what, Mark? We need to go to Latrobe one year.
You can. We'll figure it out. Maybe next year. I don't know if we have enough time and money and stuff like that. We could do it. Yeah. We could be.
We could stop off at the Beehive for a couple of drinks.
Nah.
Just keep your phone on you.
I'm going to be all about sports, mate. If I'm out there, I'll just go and ask him the oddest questions, like a bit like the media does when they're like, "Hey, Najee, can you catch one-handed?" No, I guess we'd go out there and do some reporting. I don't know. It'd be kind of fun. But I'm excited. I'm excited for training camp, and just because we know it's going to be in a month. It's so close in about 2 months' time.
Yeah.
August football versus Seahawks, and Mitch Trubisky is going to be throwing that first pass. Kenny Pickett's first pass. There's a lot of firsts. So yeah, thanks guys. Check out the channel. We do appreciate all the comments and the mailbag questions. So thank you for that, and we'll see you later. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go.